Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Christie's.
Every year there is a sort of tryout, a bit like the X Factor or one of those game shows, where you stand up in front of a panel of judges and you effectively give it a go. You sell a few lots. So I promptly signed myself up, having only worked for the company for, at this stage, I think less than a year. And I was as promptly given 3 X's and told I needed more experience working in the auction house before I could be considered, which was completely fair enough. So from that moment, I spent probably the next 2 years trying to attend as many auctions as possible.
Sold at 35 million to you, Rebecca. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Georgina Hilton. I work at Christie's in Hong Kong, and I've worked at Christie's for over 10 years now, currently living in Hong Kong, but previously was in London, and I grew up in the UK. My title at Christie's is Head of Classic Art, and on top of that, I'm an auctioneer. Here, let me show you around. I mean, it's quite a small space, and as you can see, I basically just have a whole load of books, which very much help me with my daily job. Right now, we've just received our Old Master catalogues for our upcoming New York sale. So I'm going through the catalogues. Here I'm looking at this beautiful painting, which is a workshop of Hans Memling. And luckily, I have a Hans Memling book here, which just helps me to think about what kind of clients I might want to share these catalogues with. And then I write them a handwritten note and send them the catalogue and hope that they are interested in some pieces in our sale. Oh, and most importantly, here is my gavel. This, of course, is the most important instrument to me on an auction day. It's a very beautiful object, actually. You can unscrew this handle and then people choose. Many people hold the gavel just as the end bit, but I actually choose to keep the handle on as it just makes me feel a little bit more sturdy. Our auctions usually start somewhere between about 10 a.m. or midday for the day sales. But no matter what, we always have a full team meeting at about 8:30 in the morning. So it's a very early start for me. I usually wake up very early because as soon as I open my eyes, the adrenaline kicks in. And for me, the adrenaline is a huge part of preparation for the auction day. Those sort of nerves I've tried to replace with a feeling of excitement. So usually I'm not in the mood to sit down and have a hearty breakfast, but I do try and have something. And then I race to work, usually not in my auctioneering outfit. That's pressed and hanging, ready to go just before I get on the rostrum. And we have a team meeting and go through every lot in the sale where the department can inform the auctioneer of any useful pieces of information. That can be anything from likely people to be bidding in the room, whether there's going to be people bidding online. All of this information helps me when I get on the rostrum to ensure that I know when to take that extra time to wait for a bidder to come in the room, for example. So it's usually a day which is full of much excitement, but as I was saying, no one is just an auctioneer. So before I get on the rostrum or after I get on the rostrum, I'm usually then straight back to my exhibition, which will be going on alongside the auctions of Old Master paintings. So my focus in my current job is looking after the Asia market for Old Master paintings and European classical art, which means I sort of do 2 things on the whole throughout my day. I'm either looking after clients who are already bidding and buying Old Master paintings, European sculpture, furniture, whatever it might be, and I'm working very closely with them to make sure they are building collections that they're really proud of. So that involves making sure they have the best in-class advice and knowledge about things like condition, things like import and export, tax, all of these things that you need to know when you're buying art. And then the other side of the role is trying to bring in new clients to this area, which is something I really enjoy because that allows me to get quite creative. Sometimes we partner with brands, we partner with museums, we do events to bring new people through. So on top of that, I'm also an auctioneer. And many people from the outside think that I'm only an auctioneer because that's the public presentation that you see. And I think it's so interesting at Christie's that no one is just an auctioneer. So I moved to Hong Kong 5 years ago, just actually nearly 5.5 years ago now. And I truly love living here so much, and I don't see myself ever wanting to leave. I really loved exploring the arts and crafts scene in the city. So I spend so many of my weekends in Sham Shui Po, absolutely, completely lost in all of those ribbon and bead shops. I also, of course, love the gallery and museums that are available to us here. We've just had Art Week, and I mean, name another city that gets as excited about their Art Week as we do in Hong Kong. So it's incredible how much there is to see. No matter what day of the week it is, you can always go to either a gallery opening, a museum exhibition, and I really enjoy that part of it.